He had always known love to be hard work, but Obina was ready for it. He believed that if you give your woman everything, peace, protection, provision, then loyalty would come naturally. But he was wrong. Obina was a 42-year-old businessman in Lagos. Not your regular flashy type. He was quiet, calculated, and deeply intentional about life. He built his logistics company from scratch, one delivery bike at a time, until it became one of the most respected courier services on the mainland. His days were packed with business calls, meetings, and endless planning. But at night, he came home to his joy, Nancy, his wife. Nancy was beautiful. Not just physically, but in a way that made people stare with admiration. Light-skinned, well-shaped, always smelling like coconut and money. She was 35, but her glowing skin and soft baby voice made her look 10 years younger. She walked like a queen and smiled like she had no worries in the world. They had been married for 5 years. 5 seemingly perfect years. Obina had done everything to keep her happy. He bought her a boutique in Lekki Phase 1, gave her 2 cars, a white Mercedes and a black Lexus, took her on vacations every December, and ensured she lacked nothing. Even the house they lived in, a duplex with marble floors and smart TVs, was in her name. "Obi, you treat me like an egg," she always said, hugging him from behind while he watched evening news. And he'd laugh. "Because you're priceless, baby." Obina was the kind of man women prayed for. And Nancy played the perfect wife. At least, on the surface. She posted soft life quotes online. "A good man deserves peace. #grateful wife. If love was a person, it would be my husband. #miking. Forever starts every day with you. #wife goals. People envied them. Friends admired them. Family praised them. But behind closed doors, Nancy had another life. A life no one saw coming, not even Obina. Every day at 3 p.m., she would put on a light smile and tell her husband, "Baby, I'm going to the boutique. My manager is lazy abeg." Obina, in the middle of replying to emails or signing contracts, would barely look up. "No wahala. Just call me when you're done." She'd kiss his forehead and leave. But she wasn't going to the boutique. Not all the time. Sometimes, she went to an apartment in Ikoyi. Sometimes to a spa suite in Lekki. And other times, she booked a cheap hotel room in Ogudu just to avoid suspicion. Waiting for her was not fabric or customers, but Sammy, a soft-spoken, jobless ex-model with broad shoulders and full lips. He called her mummy in bed but sweetheart in public. Sammy was one of her boys. She had 3 others. There was Kelvin, who sold sneakers at Yaba but wore only what she bought him. There was Toby, a 24-year-old fitness trainer she found on Instagram. And then Junior, her cousin's friend, who used to come visit and ended up staying in her spare apartment just for a few weeks. Nancy spoiled them all. Bought phones, paid rents, fed their egos, and funded their useless dreams. They made her feel desired, like a goddess. Unlike Obina, who was too busy with business plans and employee salaries. "Obi is a good man," she told her friend one day. "But these boys make me feel young. You won't understand." And her friend, just as messy, laughed and replied, "Abeg, enjoy yourself. Life no one." Meanwhile, Obina remained devoted. He would call her during the day just to hear her voice. He would surprise her with flowers and perfumes. He even planned to open a second boutique in Victoria Island as a gift on their anniversary. But something strange began to disturb him. One night, while checking the bank statements, he noticed a 700,000 Nigerian nairas transfer from their joint account to an unfamiliar name, Kels Cuts. "Who's that?" he asked Nancy casually. She blinked, then smiled. "Oh. That's Kelvin, my friend's cousin. I helped him start a barber shop. Nothing serious." Obina nodded, but his heart whispered something different. Friend's cousin? 700K? Still, he didn't press further. But it kept happening. More money. More excuses. One day, he returned home early and saw her phone unlocked on the couch. He didn't mean to check, but curiosity overpowered him. He opened her WhatsApp. The last message from Baby Boo read, "Thanks for the 50K my sugar. You too sweet. Can't wait to kiss that body again." His fingers went cold. He didn't scream. Didn't cry. He just sat down and stared at the wall. For the first time in years, he couldn't breathe. So this is what I've been financing? He stood up, quietly walked into the kitchen, poured himself a glass of water, and made a decision. He would wait. Watch. Plan. Because when a good man decides to become dangerous, he doesn't shout. He strikes. And that day was coming. He hadn't planned to come home early that night. But the universe did. Obina had just finished a long meeting with some investors in Ikoyi. One of them cancelled their follow-up dinner due to food poisoning, so Obina told his driver to head home. It was just 6:20 p.m., a rare time for him to be back. He planned to surprise Nancy. Maybe catch her halfway through dinner prep. Maybe they'd watch a movie together for once. He missed her. Lately, something in her hugs had changed. She smiled, but her eyes no longer danced. And even when she called him baby, it felt mechanical, like it came from memory, not emotion. Still, he loved her. So he picked up her favorite chocolates from a nearby store, bought a bouquet of red roses from a hawker in traffic, and hummed softly as the gate to their compound opened. The house was quiet. No aroma of egusi, no clatter of pots. Just dim lighting and faint music upstairs. He walked in, placed the flowers on the table, and dropped his briefcase by the couch. Then he heard it. Laughter. A man's laughter. Soft, foolish, unashamed. Obina frowned. Nancy never said anyone was visiting. He tiptoed quietly toward the staircase. The music got louder as he climbed, an Afrobeats playlist humming from the home lounge on the upper floor. He got to the door and paused. Then he heard her voice. "Open your mouth, baby." Pop. A champagne bottle. Giggles. "Don't waste it, oh. Aha, see your mouth like bucket." Obina's breath caught in his throat. He turned the doorknob slowly, silently. And what he saw would haunt him forever. Nancy was completely naked, sitting on the lap of a shirtless boy young enough to be their first child. She was straddling him, holding a bottle of Hennessy, pouring it into his mouth like he was a baby. The boy laughed drunkenly, gripping her waist with greasy hands. A plate of suya and half-eaten strawberries sat on the table beside them. 2 used condoms lay on the rug like wrappers. For a moment, Obina didn't breathe. Then his hand, still holding the doorknob, began to tremble. The wine glass he had brought upstairs fell from his hand and shattered. Nancy jerked and turned, frozen. The boy quickly stood, confused, grabbing his jeans. He stuttered, "Bro. Bro, a beg. I no. Obina didn't say a word. His eyes locked with Nancy's. She looked like a stranger. Not the woman he married. Not the Iowa Instagram loved. Just a woman dripping with lies and betrayal, struggling to cover her body with shame that came too late. "Obina, baby. I can explain." He laughed. A short, dry laugh. The type that holds back tears. "You can explain?" He looked around the room, the champagne, the strawberries, the matching silk robe on the chair. His robe. Then his eyes fell on her nakedness. A body he used to adore. Now disgusting in his eyes. "How many of them?" he asked calmly. Nancy stayed silent. "Answer me, Nancy. How many boys have you used me to feed?" Just 2, she whispered, avoiding his gaze. Obina took a deep breath. His lips quivered. "You were everything to me," he said slowly. "I gave you everything. I made you a queen. You turned my palace into a brothel. Obi, I was lonely. You're always busy. Always working. I needed attention. He stepped back like she had spat on him. So cheating is now therapy? He snapped. Do you know how many nights I prayed for you? How many deals I turned down just to rush home early? I was fighting the world outside, not knowing I was already dead inside my own home. The boy, now dressed, shuffled past awkwardly, head bowed. Obina didn't stop him. He wasn't the enemy. Nancy was. Obina walked out of the room, numb. Nancy ran after him in a wrapper, crying and begging. Please, Obina. Don't leave me. It was a mistake. He paused at the door, turned, and said in a voice she had never heard before. You were not a mistake. But everything I gave you was wasted. Then he walked out, and this time, she didn't hear the door close softly like before. This time, he slammed it. And the house trembled. After that unforgettable night, Obina didn't scream. He didn't fight. He didn't even tell anyone. He simply vanished from the house like a ghost. Nancy woke up the next morning thinking it was a bad dream. She rushed to Obina's side of the bed. Empty. She checked the bathroom. Nothing. His toothbrush was gone. His wardrobe, half empty. She ran to her phone and dialed his number. Switched off. Panic gripped her chest. Obina, no do like this now, she whispered, pacing back and forth in the living room. Her hands shook. Her legs refused to stay still. Her heart beat like a drum inside her ribcage. No note. No goodbye. No threat. Just disappearance. Days passed. Then weeks. And like silent thunder, the consequences began. On a regular Tuesday morning, Nancy walked into her boutique in Lekki. She smiled at customers, sipped coffee, and posed for a quick Instagram story. Until a POS alert said, transaction failed. Account frozen. Contact your bank. What nonsense is this? She hissed, refreshing. Nothing changed. She tried another card. Same result. Nancy rushed out of the boutique, heart pounding, wig slightly tilted. At the bank, a calm female manager told her. Your account was temporarily frozen by request from your joint account holder for suspicious fund activity. Please refer to your legal advisor. Nancy blinked like a goat facing oncoming traffic. Obina. One morning, as she stepped out in a short peach gown and heels, ready to meet one of her boys, the Lexus was gone. Vanished from the compound. The gateman explained nervously, Madam, Oga carry am 2 days ago. He talk say na him get am. Nancy screamed at him, you no fit call me? Madam I think say una settle. She stormed inside. Picked her phone. Called Obina's PA. Tund. What is going on? Obina has my car. Tund replied calmly, that's not your car, ma. The documents are in his name. She paused. Her heartbeat dropped. Obina hadn't just left her. He was erasing her. A few days later, Nancy's cousin, Chica, barged into the boutique holding her phone like it was on fire. Nancy. You're trending. Nancy turned, confused. Trending where? Chica showed her the screen. A Twitter thread. 30,000 plus retweets. Title. How a married woman fed 4 sugar boys with her husband's sweat, thread. There were pictures. Screenshots. Audio recordings. Hidden camera footage from her boutique's fitting room showing her kissing one of the boys. A voice note where she said, my husband go think say I dey sell clothes. I dey sell body cream for fine boys. People were commenting wildly. Men, be careful oh. This one na real Jezebel. She dey do giveaway with another man's blood and sweat. Husband way carry grace, wife way carry disgrace. Nancy collapsed on the boutique floor. Phone in hand. Reputation in shreds. Her Instagram followers dropped by 4,000 in 2 hours. Clients started calling to cancel appointments. One said, "Please refund me. I can't wear clothes from a cursed store." Another said, "I don't do business with witches." Nancy couldn't breathe. The walls felt like they were closing in. Obina had known everything for 3 months. After noticing money moving suspiciously from their joint account, he planted too many cameras in the house and boutique with the help of a private security company. He had collected evidence quietly, smartly. He had even befriended one of the boys, Kelvin, the same one she had sent 700,000 Nigerian nairas. Obina offered Kelvin a deal: "Tell me everything. I'll pay you. Refuse, and I press charges for fraud." Kelvin spilled. He exposed all the boys. All the locations. Even how Nancy lured them with gifts, apartments, and money from Obina's accounts. Obina had planned to confront her during their anniversary. But when he saw her naked with one of the boys in their home, he changed the plan. He said to himself, "She doesn't deserve a fight. She deserves a fall." Obina refused to take her calls. He filed for divorce through lawyers only. He demanded she return 3.2 million Nigerian nairas in misused funds. He revoked the boutique lease. He owned the building all along. She tried to post a video crying on Instagram. But the comments roasted her. "Why you go and drink Hennessy with your boys? We know they pity a shawa way cheat husband. Madam influencer, influence disgrace small. Her family?" Her father said, "You brought shame to our name." Her pastor's wife blocked her. Her ex-sugar boys? Gone. The money had stopped. They moved to new mummies. Only silence stayed. And silence is a heavy thing to sleep with. It had been 6 months since Obina walked out and slammed the door on everything they built. Nancy thought things would get better with time. That maybe he'd miss her. That maybe the shame would pass. But Obina wasn't like other men. He didn't shout. He didn't beg. He didn't fight in public. He simply did what most men never do: he healed in silence, and took his respect back. The day the divorce papers arrived, Nancy opened the brown envelope with trembling fingers. The words on the first page weren't even legal jargon, they were bullets. "You were not a mistake. But everything I gave you was wasted. Obina Chibuzo." She broke down crying in her tiny new apartment, 1 bedroom, mosquito-infested, in Ogudu. From a 5-bedroom duplex with marble floors to a cracked ceiling with leaking taps. Her fall had no mattress. She tried to reject the divorce. She called his lawyer. She begged. They ignored her. She sent a long message to Obina, pouring her heart out. "Obi, I was stupid. I don't deserve you, but please give me one chance to fix everything. Let's go for therapy. Let's talk. I'm not even eating. I'm losing my mind." No reply. She sent voice notes. Pictures. Even an old video of their honeymoon in Zanzibar. Nothing. Obina didn't need to reply, his silence was the closure. While Nancy's life was rotting, Obina was glowing. He moved to a new duplex in Ikeja GRA. Bought himself a Range Rover. Rebranded his company. Took a break. Traveled to Ghana for 2 weeks. No stress. No drama. Just peace. Then he did something that shocked everyone. He posted a photo on Instagram. Obina, smiling, seated in his office. Beside him was a quiet, modest woman. Beautiful, soft-eyed, with tribal marks and no makeup. The caption read, "Peace over perfection. I finally understand." Lagos shook. People commented, "Obina, you're glowing oh." Real men don't shout. They rebuild. She Nancy Day see this? Nancy did. She saw it. And she cried into her pillow till her face swelled. 3 weeks later, Nancy missed her period. She took a test. Positive. She didn't even know which of the boys was responsible. Sammy? Toby? Junior? None of them answered her calls anymore. She tried to reach Obina again. Maybe he'd pity her. Maybe he'd take her back if the baby was his. But when the lab confirmed she was over 3 months pregnant, she knew the bitter truth. The baby was not Obina's. She sat on the floor of her dirty kitchen, crying and shaking. She had money once. She had men once. Now, just a bump in her belly, no support, no glory. 2 months later, a letter came. Official looking. From a law firm. Nancy opened it, expecting a threat. But instead, it read, "Despite all that happened, I will not fight you for the boutique earnings. Keep the profits you made in your name. But the building is mine, I need the space. You have 7 days to vacate. No need to respond. Just leave in peace." Nancy wept. He wasn't angry. He wasn't cruel. He was just done. And being done with someone you once loved deeply is the most painful punishment on earth. The last time Nancy ever saw Obina was at a wedding. She came with her friend, trying to look fresh despite being 5 months pregnant, face hidden in makeup and shame. Obina walked in with his new partner. Nancy locked eyes with him. He looked at her. Just 1 second. No hate. No smile. Just peace. She opened her mouth, hoping he'd come over. He didn't. He took his partner's hand, whispered something in her ear, and they both laughed softly. Nancy watched them the whole night. Jealous. Lonely. Broken.
Hello besties, in this story we learn that when a person gives you love, loyalty and comfort, don't reward them with betrayal. True peace is rare, and once you break the heart of a good quiet person, you may never find that kind of peace again. Silence doesn't mean weakness, sometimes it's the sound of someone walking away forever. Thank you so much for watching, kindly like, subscribe and share.